doorbell at Jimmy's house. Now, when you come to my house, my doorbell sounds like this.
And there we go. I had to retweet the tweet and put out a post on Instagram. That's why everyone got to listen to some lovely music at first. What's up, Canadian Glenn?
Buenos dias. That's about all I got to say.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that today we can get through the show, or more than 12 minutes of the show without having my internet shut down again. Thank you, Spectrum. Your crappy service always gets crappier at the worst possible times, and you don't get anything back for it, man. They just be like, we're working on it, people are on the polls, blah 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 blah. So yeah. My rant about Spectrum is done. That's why our show didn't happen last week. And the people who heard it, it only lasted like 12 minutes. And then I just deleted everything because why?
Yep.
So yeah, a lot's happened since last week. Yeah, they had that big MAGA, what was it called? Stop the Steal, Proud Boy, Fascist, Nazi, Klan rally in Washington, D.C. The very fine people marched through the streets and beat up people, stabbed somebody, shot somebody, beat up homeless people, beat up Jewish people, beat up black people, probably beat up more than that, but who knows. One dude got to stab 3 of them because they jumped him. You know, don't jump a dude with a knife, maybe. But then he got arrested. So I'm hoping that Trump and all them will consider him a hero like Rittenhouse. You know,
I'm sure
the guy who came with a weapon, an illegal weapon, threatened people's lives, and then when they fought back, murdered 3 people. You know, the ISIS-style terrorist that they're calling a hero. So I hope the guy who is on video getting stomped out and stabbed 3 people in the process to get him up off him, I hope he's a hero too. Because he stabbed 3 fascists. He stabbed 3 racist, scum, fascists. You know. If he gets off, I hope they die. If he doesn't get off, I hope they live so he gets less time. It sucks, but the dude was just defending himself, right? Stand your ground. That's what they're all about. Somehow I don't think homie's going to get the same love that the scum terrorists get.
Yeah, it never seems to work out that way.
Never. See, this is what people don't get. When Bush was president, Nazis were going around beating people up and stabbing people and shooting people. When Obama was president, Nazis were going around beating people up and stabbing people and shooting people. And it's just gone on kind of forever. They go under different names, you know, different groups, different names, but they're just fascist, racist, bigots going around stabbing, shooting, hurting, killing, maiming, blowing people up. I mean, these jackasses this weekend went to some black churches, pulled out all the Black Lives Matter banners and started burning them. They were screaming all kinds of racist crap. They had shirts on that said, what did they say? Six. It meant 6 million wasn't enough. 6MWE or something. Nazi logos on their shirts, man. Fascist logos on their shirts. White power logos on their shirts and attire. Screaming racial slurs at people. Attacking people. And these are the good guys. These are the very fine people. Go figure, huh?
Well, there's a fundamental breakdown, gee, surprise, surprise, in this whole thing. This entire existing paradigm of, and it's perpetuated by the fash, and it's perpetuated by the corporate media. It seems that it's always the responsibility of whoever is less right-wing, that it's up to them to come to the table. It's up to them to, well, tone it down and be more accommodating. It's up to them to always give in to the fash. And anybody who's read a 10-page animated pop-up book about the history of fascism knows that that's not how you beat them. You don't surrender shit to them. You don't allow a single thing of what they want. That's how you beat them. You don't acquiesce them. You don't stroke them and think that they'll, tone it down. That's not how shit works. But yet this is the same propaganda that keeps getting played out over and over and over. This whole thing about fine people on both sides. Just the attempt to use a setting like that is proof that things aren't accurate. Things aren't truthful about who the assholes are and who everybody else is. And, as long as people continue to put up with it, they're not going to back down, because bullies don't back down until they figure it out that they're going to get their ass kicked. Then they back down right away.
Yeah, it's no different, dude. We used to be out there and these cats would go to Home Depot and Riverside and start attacking cats out there trying to get work. You know what I mean? Like immigrant dudes out there trying to get work in the parking lot. They come and attack them with bats and sticks and knives, and we'd have to fight them off. We bash their cars, we bash their heads. It'd be literally wars going on in that parking lot back in the day. Trying to protect some people from these Nazi scum. These are the same people.
Yep.
These are the same people. There's no different. And the sick thing is that now that Biden's president and or going to be president and Trump's going to be leaving, the fascist, racist Trump is gone. When Biden's president and we go out there to protest an injustice, the police will still be on the side of the racist. And nothing will change in the streets. Just like when Obama was president. Look at Standing Rock. Look at all that stuff. That's, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It has to come from the top down. The top will never say, hey, don't back the fascist. You know why? Because the top, no matter if it's Democrat or Republican, is always a fascist.
Well,
in this country and most others.
Well, the one biggest factor that people have to understand about what fascism is that it's the combination of the power of the state with the capital and ability to get shit done of the corporate world. That's what fascism is. Government being government, which is set up for the people, being used to enable corporations. That's what fascism is. Everything else is just details and degrees. So, I mean, if you accept that definition and look around, most of the Western world is fascist to a certain degree.
Yeah, that's what they don't get. I mean, they're like, oh, it's either capitalism or communism or socialism in these people's mind, and they pick one and say this one's good and the others are bad. But you put authoritarian rule on any of those, they can all be bad.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Only one of them can be partially good, in my opinion, but whatever. But you put authoritarian rule on top of that, and you get these tyrants, and people are going to die, and people are going to be attacked, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which system it's under. I mean, look at the Middle East. What do you have there? You have these ISIS cats. You have these Taliban cats. Those are fascists. Now you come over here, you got the MAGAs, you got the clans, those are fascists too. Same basic ideology, just a different religion, different fuel. You know what I mean?
Different perspective.
Yeah, but it's all basically, we've said it before. What's the difference between Trump and Erdogan, or United States and Turkey? There's differences. There's fundamental differences, but at the same time, you have these terrible people ruling them, and they're using, in a lot of cases, most cases, they're using religion against the people who believe it. The state and religion are tied together. You can't, just like Trump. Are you a real Christian if you don't support Trump? No. That's what their leaders were preaching. God wants Trump here. You have to do this, and God wants Erdogan, or Allah wants Erdogan, whatever.
Yep. That's the absolute point of it. I mean, the only thing that changes is the particulars of wherever it's being pulled off and the language it's done in. That's the only difference. I mean, I just really find it hilarious that for, basically the entire 21st century has been about fighting rampant Islamic fundamentalism. Well,
and then you got another whole crazy fascist. It's like North Korea. There's some fascists there. I mean, there's some fascism there. It's just different brands of fascism. And if you come back to just this country in the United States, because we determined before the show fascism doesn't exist in Canada, and then Glenn slapped me. No. You have two different brands of fascism here, and that's the only choice these people are given. And the one was a little too hardcore for a majority of the voters this time, so they picked the other one.
Again, Frosted Flakes or Corn Flakes?
A majority of the population didn't vote for either one of them, no. So kudos to these people who said, I'm not voting for either fascist. We're just going to sit back and not vote because they didn't give us anybody to vote for. And I'm not talking about the Bernie people, because he's on the fascist side with the Democrats. They're a fascist party, just like the Republicans are a fascist party. I'm talking about the people that said neither party, none of these candidates, they all suck. And some people got lucky because they just had to work or whatever, but I'm still calling them heroes for not voting for fascism. It's just stupid. This whole system sucks, Glenn. It's got to change. Where's the Canadian Army to come and free our people over here?
Oh, no, the Canadian Army will be too busy cleaning up the complete COVID-19 fuck-ups of provincial governments in Canada.
Yeah. Well, you'll be jealous to hear we're getting $600 or less more stimulus, most likely, here in the United States. Ha ha! Take your $2,000 a month and stuff it.
And, you want to talk about what is fascism? Nothing is more plain than that. Absolutely
You
nothing.
take the people's money, give it to the richest of the rich and the defense contractors and the giant monster corporations, and then tell the people, hey, you know what? You know you got that 1,200 that's supposed to last you the last eight months. Where did it all go? What did you spend it on? Are you a drug addict or something? We're going to give you 600 more because you screwed off the 1,200, and hopefully you'll be able to survive on that for the next 6 or 8 months. And that's why these rich senators and congressmen, presidents, mayors, governors are going to be out spending crazy money this Christmas. Like there's not even a pandemic happening. You know what I mean? Their rent's paid. Their bills are paid. If anyone gets sick, they got health care. These are the people that represent us, supposedly. You think any one of them is worried about a bill not getting paid? You think any one of them is worried about, I can't afford gifts for my kids or this person or that person, or I might be put out in the streets because I haven't paid rent in so many months because I lost my job? Any of them? Hey, the union, what's up?
I think the biggest reason that they still use this work for the public thing is just to keep justifying who pays all the bills. That's it. That's the only reason. And you talk about taking money from the people and giving it to the richest of the rich. Well, that's not even the worst part of it. They just make all this money out of thin air and give it to the richest of the rich, and then expect everybody else to pay it off, which, fiat currency is just a fucking shell game anyway, but everybody plays it. It's the only game in town, apparently. But,
Yep.
This is the thing. I saw something that Robert Reich tweeted today, and he said, there's no money to take care of the American citizens. The Department of Defense in the United States spends $2 billion a day, but yet there's no money to feed people. Okay. That's fascism, people. That's fascism. I'll tell you what, everybody's worried so much about communism coming. Well, there's no doubt that in the heights of the Soviet Union, when Uncle Joe was in charge, not Joe Biden, don't be confused, they still, they did have the Holodomor, and they did have pogroms against certain types of people based on ethnicity, and that is fascism, but yet they're a communist state, so, there's one to stump all the Trumpies. But the Soviet Union didn't just willy-nilly let vast parts of their population starve because they didn't feel like feeding them. So if communism's the evil, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. I guess.
But, well, that's just, that's all political talk and stuff, so.
You sounded really Canadian with that, That's the stuff what reminds me I'm talking to a Canadian sometimes, because you seem so normal.
Well, that's a relative term.
Yeah. Yeah, I said hello to the union because that's Celeb up on there in the chat. So, hey, Celeb. People are probably like, why did you just scream, what's up, union? And
Why not?
Why not? Let's just say anything. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Oh, and, to all those wondrous MAGAs who said Joe Biden's gonna bring about socialism to America, or the United States that they call America. Have you seen who he's appointing to everything?
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be socialist as it gets. Defense contractors, big business people. These people hate money.
Well, they hate money for anyone who's not in their circle. That's about it. I mean, oh yeah, there's definite communism when Janet Yellen is going to be Secretary of the Treasury.
Oh my gosh. I mean, in a way, they're right, though. That's why I want to tell the MAGAs. In a way, you were right. He is bringing about socialism, the same socialism that's been going on since I could remember, that Trump brought on as well. It is socialism for rich people and corporations, banksters, defense contractors. They get bailouts. They get socialism. They get our tax dollars. Well, we get nothing. And they get represented, and we don't. And we're paying for it because they don't even pay taxes. So, and evidently mega churches now too.
Yep.
That's a whole nother issue, because churches should not be tax exempt, especially if they're up here going off on candidates. You know, if they're into politics, their preachers are millionaires flying jets all over the place. Why are you tax exempt? Pay your fair share. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Isn't that what they say?
The thing I can't really understand is, apparently, from what I've been told, is that God is everywhere. You don't have to go to some building to talk to your God. So that just makes it even more outrageous to me that some of these pieces of shit have to build cathedrals of glass and spend millions of dollars of audio video production capacity. Like,
listen,
why are these people needed to talk to your God that's everywhere?
Okay, first of all, you're going a little blasphemous here. God, first of all, knows how unstable and dangerous and unsafe and unsecure technology is. So he doesn't have Cash App. So you have to go to a designated location to give him his money, dude. That's why they're there. Now do you understand? And the preacher takes his cut. He sends most of it to heaven, but he takes his cut. But it's so much, they got to get jets and Rolls Royces and Bentleys and mansions. What else are they going to do with all that money?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe feed people?
If they fed people, they wouldn't have all the money for Bentleys and mansions and Rolls Royces and all that. And they got to show, like, you know, they represent God. They got to have the best. I don't know where you don't get this.
I'm going to have to take a pass on American exceptionalism meets big religion.
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. I like to be sarcastic because people don't get it sometimes. They're like, yeah, you said this. So, wasn't it not that long ago, a couple months ago, I had to explain sarcasm because some huge YouTuber put one of my things like I was a MAGA because I was saying something like Trump is God or something, or, you know, I was saying some sarcastic thing that the MAGAs were saying, and they took it seriously, and they're like, oh my God, you're such a horrible person. And I was like, why don't you read through my timeline? And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. They actually retracted it and changed the video because of that. But
wow,
yeah, sometimes my sarcasm gets me in some trouble because people don't understand I'm being sarcastic. And it wasn't her fault. She got it sent to her, and she doesn't know who I am. But I would think if you're a big YouTuber making videos about people, you just look through their account before you know. Whatever.
Yeah, you might actually do some fact checking.
Because I see some accounts that say, like, when Trump tweets, there's this one guy that just says the craziest, I love you, sir, your eyes are beautiful, everything. And you're like, wait a minute, I don't know. And then you look at his thing, it's just like, yeah, he's trashing them in a funny way. He's just trashing those people. It's a parody account.
Yeah.
But someone got the wrong idea. They put that up and be like, look at this horrible person. And, you know. Yeah, you got to look through the accounts. And some accounts that seem nice are really bad too. So it works both ways. Check everybody out. Know who you're retweeting and reposting and what kind of people they are. Oh man.
But that's only for people who actually give a shit, as opposed to most who just want to, inflict some specific feel on other people.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a tragic weekend in DC. I filmed some police here in LA without masks on. And right now there's a story out about how many police have in LAPD have the virus, and one just died from it again. And these pigs are out here in the streets, walking up on people's cars, no masks on, leaning up on their windows. As soon as I seen that camera, though, mask was on quick. Yeah, it's on the YouTube channel. It's on my Instagram. The YouTube is People's Radio United, and the Instagram is @TimBestBuds, same as Twitter. Yeah, I was in a situation where I was by a friend's business, and I didn't want to blow up the spot, so I didn't really go off on them while they were doing anything. I just kind of yelled at them on their way out. But yeah, definitely, they're out here without masks every day. They murdering, killing, and hurting the community any possible way they can. That's what they do. And I've seen other videos. I've seen them all the time. I have so many videos of them without masks, it's not funny. And I see other people do too. And you know what happens? They still don't care. Nothing happens to these cats. I mean, they get away with murder. They get away with theft. They get away with everything else. Wearing a mask, I think, is pretty minor. So they're going to get away with that too.
Well, I mean, it's like anything else. You can tell 5-year-old kids what the rules are. But when the first one breaks the rule and nothing happens, they all just learn something. This doesn't mean shit. And if the first 4 kids break the rule and nothing happens, but then the 5th kid does, and then that kid gets nailed to the wall, well, then what's the real reason, And everybody else picks up on it and takes advantage of it, because that's human nature. I can do this, you can't. So I'm going to do it. Fuck you.
Yeah. So yeah, the 2 cops that murdered Melly at the Trader Joe's in Silver Lake,
Yeah.
they just basically got off. It was a quote unquote justified killing or shooting or whatever. They didn't act out of blah blah blah. So yeah, I mean it's really, really ridiculous.
But it's not a surprise, and it's not a change, and it's not anything new. So yeah, be sure to get out there and vote for Joe, because change. Okay.
Did you see this this pig, Tony McBride? She's the one that murdered Daniel Hernandez, who I met some of his family before. She's out here posting things talking about what a great day it is to be alive and this and that, and they got her in all kinds of videos like the sexy cool cop from LAPD or whatever. She's becoming like a mini celebrity, and she's a murderer. She killed a mentally ill, unarmed dude.
Yep. Well, that's Fash Barbie.
Sheesh. It's horrifying, man.
Badge Barbie. There we go. There's the name. Badge Barbie.
It's disgusting, man. These people aren't heroes. They're not They're not cool or sexy or models or whatever. They're fat. They're Nazis. They're scum. There's no difference. I was driving down Western on my way somewhere not too long, like last week. We didn't do the show last week, so we didn't get to talk about a lot of stuff that we would have talked about if Spectrum didn't shut us off. But yeah, they had a whole checkpoint up and down from the 10 freeway. I don't know if you know the area from the 10 freeway almost all the way to Washington. Just lines of cops, the whole thing all the way back. People stuck in traffic trying to get through this stupid checkpoint. And all these cops with flashlights. Let me see your papers. Papers, please. Papers, please. Papers, please. Basically, stopping indiscriminate people. And it's under the guise of a DUI checkpoint. Which maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But it's also to check to see whose cars register. I mean, they want to tow people's cars. They want to see if your car registration is legal, if you got driver's license. And here in California, I've been stopped before at driver's license checkpoints, registration checkpoints. They got checkpoints for everything. And they always say it's for your safety. How does somebody without registration keep me safe? Because they don't have money and they're driving their car to get to work and I'm unsafe because of that? I don't get it.
It sounds to me like they should be renamed invoice checkpoints.
Yeah. Just Gestapo checkpoints like everybody calls them anyway, right? And they're unconstitutional. But somehow they found a loophole around it. They have to advertise it ahead of time or some crap. I don't know.
Well, I find that interesting because, up here, especially this time of year, it'll probably be different this season, but usually the entire month of December is known as check stop season. And every night, the cops will be out at 2 or 3 different locations, and that's pretty much what they do. They just stop every car in both directions. But the issue here is you're asked, have you consumed alcohol? Or now they say alcohol or legal drugs tonight. If you say no and they look at you and you don't look wrecked, that's it. Away you go. They don't want to see your license. They don't want to see your registration. None of that shit. Because it's not legal for them to ask for that stuff here under those circumstances. If you say, yeah, I've had a few, or you crack your window and it smells like somebody poured a beer out the window, then they're going to say, yeah, maybe you should pull it over here and we'll have a little chat. But that's probable cause. It's not just, we feel like it, give us all your shit. You can't do that here. I don't understand how it's just tolerated down there.
Yeah.
But then I guess if you say fuck you and try and drive away, they're going to empty their clip into your car. So
it's worse than that. They have cops on motorcycles about a block or two down from where it starts. And anyone who turns off onto a legal turn onto a street or into a parking lot or whatever, bust a U-turn, legal or not, they got these 2 or 3 or 4 or 6, depending on where it is and how crowded it is, motorcycle cops that chase them down and wonder why they turned around. What were you trying to get away from? And a lot of times, those people just don't want to wait in the line.
Oh, yeah. But how dare you deny our opportunity to give you an invoice?
Yeah.
We'll make sure you get one now. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But that's true. There was a lot of things we were going to talk about last week that Spectrum didn't want to let us do. Since
you know what's funny? Do you know? I don't know because nobody heard it, but it was just funny. It was a coincidence, obviously. But when we were mocking MAGAs or mocking the QAnons or whatever. we were talking about the Democrats, or if they cut us off right now, we know it's the spectrum hates us. But no, you're talking about the Democrats are like lizard people who eat babies and blah blah blah, and all of a sudden like the whole thing was dead.
That's true.
And you commented on that. You're like, see, they're trying to silence us. No, it was just hilarious timing.
Yeah, as soon as we said the Democratic lizard people, everything went dead.
Yeah, that was ridiculously funny, though.
It's a conspiracy.
They eat babies. They eat babies. Oh, I see something on Twitter, or I don't know where it was, some conspiracy theory guy or woman or whoever had the whole thing with Joe Biden. Start with Joe Biden sniffing a girl's head because he's creepy, and so so is Trump. But then QAnon versus fuck you. But then, hey Smoker, oh man, all my favorite Canadians are in the chat. It's good to see you back, Smoker. Please stop with the trolling. You're gonna make me mad. Anyway, see that? Yeah, he's putting QAnon as God, QAnon for president, QAnon loves Tim. Hola. Okay. What was I saying? He threw me off. I wasn't expecting that.
I don't know. It kind of distracted me.
Tea Party for president.
No, you're late. You're 10 years late for that one.
Yeah, this reminds me of some of your shows, Glenn, right now, except he's not talking. He's just texting it.
Yeah, well, BTR chat rooms were pretty good for trolling.
That's why we love the Smoker. Troll, oh man.
No,
okay.
I was talking about how we didn't get to discuss some stuff. Then we got on to the Democrat lizard people.
Oh yeah, this is what I was saying. So then, had Biden sniffing the woman's head, and then it goes down and showed some Democrat wearing red shoes, and then it went into red shoes are made from dead babies, and they wear them to take the power and make them something. I was like, oh my god, these people are nuts.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like a meme, but it wasn't a joke. It was supposed to be serious. I mean, it was pretty funny, but it was supposed to be serious. These people are just nuts.
Yeah.
They're nuts. You know that dude? What's that dude with the little face on the big head? Charlie Kirk. That dude. You know who he is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about Hunter Biden's finances and something, and how come nobody's interested in looking into his tax returns. What changed? And I'm thinking, this is Trump's little lackey. And he's like, what changed? How about the president you support refused to show his taxes, and he's the first president in modern history who's done that, and he set a precedent like that. That's what changed. Now no politician has to show their taxes anymore, because why? He didn't. Why should I have to? Y'all let him get away with it. I mean, isn't that the same thing we were just talking about with the police? You let someone get away with something, and then all of a sudden it's okay. The next person can do it the same thing or worse.
Well, I mean, we've talked about this before on this show. This is it. Once you set a precedent, like side A will do something. Side B will say, oh my God, that's outrageous. How could you do that? No, that's ridiculous. And then when side B gets elected to that office, they do it too. Because now it's cool. I mean, it's just a joke. I mean, you go back to one of the most basic principles of the real world. Power is never given. It has to be taken. And that's the thing. I mean, we've talked about it before. Remember before Obama was first elected? Oh my God, George W. Bush, all these powers he's consolidated in the White House. This is not democracy. This is not constitutional. Well, Obama went ahead and used all those powers.
Yep.
More than Bush did, and made them worse.
And then came Trump.
And if Obama hadn't created this bastion of unimpeachable power at the White House, then Trump wouldn't have been able to do all the shit he did. So, it ain't about team. It's the fucking game.
I mean, everyone has it. The right wing will tell you Obama built the cages. That's true. Well, Bush built the cages. Obama expanded the cages. And then Trump filled them up.
Yep.
Obama expanded and filled it up more. And then Trump went crazy with it. Who knows what this next guy is going to do? Because he's not going to end it. I mean, I'd be surprised if he ended it. He'll change it. He'll keep families locked up. Obama had families locked up. Bush had families locked up. The separating thing, the taking children, locking them away by themselves and beating them and raping them all the time. That's the stuff. And where are the QAnons on that, Smoker? I mean, children are literally getting trafficked and abused in these ICE, quote-unquote, detention centers, which are concentration camps. And not one of them, they're just silent about it because it's their guy doing it. And it's the same thing that's going to happen with Biden. It's the same thing that happened with Obama. When it's their guy doing it, they're going to shut up.
Well, I imagine the most demonstrative change that'll happen is maybe they'll change the corporations that they pay to do it. That's about it. Otherwise, it'll be the same.
Yeah.
But if we want to try and flip back to the show that we didn't have, because there's a lot of stuff that we were going to talk about that still matters, and especially where you are in LA.
Yeah.
Because we were going to talk about the results of the civic elections and the new district attorney-elect for Los Angeles, George Gascon. And on December 7th, he put out a letter to members of the LA County law enforcement community. And, I was quite surprised by it. I haven't seen anything this strong come from anybody who's in charge on paper of the police that I can ever remember. And he's got a unique perspective to say it because, everybody in LA knows it. But for everybody else, George Gascon started out with the LAPD over 40 years ago. And he went from a beat cop to assistant chief. And then, he served as chief of police in different cities. He served 2 terms as the San Francisco DA. And now he's come back to Los Angeles. And, he had a lot to say. It can be written off as lip service to a certain extent. Because if you wanted to simplify it, a lot of what he said is, yes, the sky is blue. We recognize that. Yes, the sun does come up in the east. We recognize that. It's one thing to just come out and admit it because, that's a tried and true method. Look at Pelosi. Nobody's better at it than her. Yeah, shit's fucked up. We know that. And then nothing happens. But what do you think about what George Gascon has come out and said to the public about what he's gonna try and hold the police to? Now, I imagine this is going to have widespread public support, but do people really think that these changes that Gascon is proposing will happen, or do they think it's just the bullshit at the start to calm everybody down, or will it depend on what the LAPD or the LA sheriffs do? If they continue to arbitrarily kill citizens, will that spur Gascon into action? Because as we were going to discuss last week, he's opened what? I think 4 cases of 4
Yeah.
killings that were apparently over and done with. So is there anything really different about Gascon, or is he just politically smart? What do you think?
I don't know yet. I mean, we have to wait and see. I know these union reps, the pig unions, the FOPs and protective leagues and whatever of police protective leagues, they hate him.
They're social
They-
clubs.
Yeah, they're talking about he destroyed San Francisco and they sent just a bunch of BS. Now I don't think the dude's even going to be able to do everything he said he was going to do. I don't think he has the power without help from, council members, mayors, and probably chiefs
The
and
state.
sheriffs. Yeah.
Sacramento's going to have to do something too, right?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what powers he has. I know he has power to look into police cases, and he should go and prosecute these corrupt cops that murder people unarmed for no reason. That needs to be changed. Maybe he'll do it. Maybe he'll just do it as a show. I don't know. Give it some time,
Yeah.
and we'll have to find out. And who knows what he's going to be able to do and what he's really trying to do. Like he said, he's going to get rid of bail. There's no more cash bail. If that's
Yeah.
true, that's awesome.
Yep.
Oh, wow, I was muted again. I do this like every show. Dang mushrooms. No, what I was saying was the cash bail. I don't know where I muted it. Hopefully he does change the cash bail situation, but I don't know if, I'm hearing in January there'll be no more cash bail. And that's a great thing. Now, the police unions and protective leagues were saying, oh no, there'll be criminals out on the streets and murderers, and they'll be killing and doing crimes again. And how can he do this when crime is at the highest it's ever been in the history of mankind in Los Angeles? A bunch of BS they're spewing all the time. So I don't know
Well-
if he does. That was the second part of what I was saying before when I was muted and you were probably responding to nothing. As far as the people heard. Because Glenn can hear me when I'm muted. The second part was, that's great because poor people can't get out of jail like rich people can. I was saying that, a rich person could do a heinous crime and have bail is nothing for them. And another person could do even less of a crime, that didn't harm anybody or something. And they're sitting locked up because they can't afford the bail for it.
Yep.
So yeah, even the playing field, either you can get out or you can't. What you did is so bad, or you're a flight risk, or you're a menace to society or something, and we have to keep you locked up. We can't let you out, whatever. Or, you would get out on bail, you can go. Are you going to charge
Yeah.
somebody? Let them go. And if they don't
Well,
come back, so what? And this is only for misdemeanors. Now, people have been lying and saying it was for felonies, but it's also only for misdemeanors too, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
There's some one guy that a terrorist shot 3 people, not in Los Angeles, but a bunch of rich fascist and racist has-been actors sent him a bunch of money, $2 million, and got his bail made, and he's out. And there's people that didn't murder 3 people that are still sitting in jail over some stupid stuff for a theft or something, or for drug charges, because they don't have the money.
While COVID roars through the prison system as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole nother thing. But I think I th- I thought it was quite funny how strong that the police social clubs came out against Gascon,
Of course.
because the things about his letter is he's saying a lot of things that you're not supposed to say. Now, again, like we said, how far he goes with them beyond just actually airing them in public is yet to be seen. But there's a lot of things that he says that need to be said. And I think it's the overreaction of law enforcement that they get it. They get it. Holy shit. If this guy keeps saying stuff like this, we're not going to be able to just brush it off anymore. And I think that's what they're really scared of, is that if there's somebody who will have a different perspective consistently, that does not kiss their ass like Kamala did, that will not kiss their ass like everybody before them has done under threat from the police, then yeah, maybe we'll see some movement. But I mean, the thing that I liked that he came out and said is the reality of a lot of the talk about quote unquote defunding the police is not necessarily to just take all this money away from the cops. The issue is to put the money to the people who should have it, because policemen are not healthcare workers. Policemen are not CPS. Policemen are not renter, landlord, tenant advisory boards. I mean, at one point, the sheriff was the one who would prosecute where there was money involved. But now, as we see around Garcetti's house, apparently the police are to protect power and privilege, flat out. Garcetti lives in a house that's owned by the people of Los Angeles, correct?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And also, I mean, if he's worried about him, can he just hire private security?
Exactly. Why should the public pay to protect his duplicitous, full of shit ass just because he can?
Yeah, and you know what
No,
Garcetti did?
I agree.
He turned a blind eye to somebody getting sexually assaulted by his staff.
Yep.
These people are disgusting, man. And that's remember, what was it, like less than 6-8 months ago? Garcetti was talking about, I'm not even interested in going to Washington. I'm not looking for any position, and if Biden wins in his cabinet. Why do they all do that? Every politician tells you they don't want to run just before they decide they're going to run or try to get a position or something. You know what's really sick is these Democrats. Well, Trump, we know he's sick. We know this guy. He's on here talking about let's stop the steal. We're gonna fight all these cases. Donate to my legal fund, and then the money goes into his pocket basically, or to pay his legal fees or something. It doesn't go for anything having to do with what they say it's for. And then you got these Democrats on here. Oh my God! On a YouTube video, the first thing I see is this monster Democrat. Hi, I'm Stacey Abrams on there talking about my friends need to witness and can we have money. She's on all of them. She's shameless, man. That Schumer's been on some too. And then you got McConnell on the one a while back. These people are sick. They're giving us nothing. The people here are going homeless, can't afford anything. It's really bad for a whole lot of people, not even paying rent. Businesses shutting down, and they're begging for money. Both parties are begging us for money. Take it from your military. Take it from your rich friends. Take it from your donors. Why are you asking the people for it? Those are the ones you're doing everything for. Go get it from the banks and the corporations.
But
it's
that's
disgusting
too much.
It's just disgusting that they even make a video like that. She ought to be ashamed of herself. Trump ought to be ashamed. And none of them, they have no shame. That's why they're politicians. They're scum. They're liars. They're thieves. They're murderers. All of them.
But they keep the illusion going by doing this. And for them, it's a win-win. Because by doing it, the first win is convincing people that they matter. And the second way is because they're getting money. So it's a win-win for them, you know? I mean, but the thing I want to talk about Gascon's letter, that I think he had some really good metaphors. And I think, you know, this is the two faces of the police as well, because especially in the last couple of years, from big American metro police forces, they're starting to say that the issue with so many things going wrong is because they're being asked to do things that they were never trained to do. How can you expect us to do all these different things? We don't know how to do these things. Well, then, why aren't your chiefs and your police commissions saying that to the people who are making the budgets? Why aren't they saying, we're not social workers. Why don't you take 5% of our budget and create a force of social workers that can go out on calls with us? If they wanted to fix shit, that's what they would actually say. But they never do. And as Gascon says, we don't ask bus drivers to fly planes. We don't ask high school teachers to teach medical students. I mean, he says the public has unfairly asked the police to handle every manner of social ill facing society. I don't think it's the public. I think it's the political system that has burdened them with it. But they've certainly taken all the money and all the additional members to do it.
Yeah.
They didn't bitch about that part of it. You know, it's like, oh yeah, you can increase our number of employees because then we have more union members and we have more political strength. But you actually want us to do all these jobs? No, fuck that. We're not into that. We just want more members and more money. We don't want to actually provide value for that money. Are you kidding?
Never that.
You know, yeah, and I think that's the one thing that hasn't been said about police enough. Value for money. That one hasn't come up yet, but it should.
But if you notice,
because everything is supposedly judged in the U.S. economy on value for money, even though almost nothing provides value. But that's the story they use. Well, let's start using it on the fucking cops. There ain't no value there at all for your dollar. Never mind for your life. Because we know now dollars are more important than lives, but there's no value for the dollar either. So, you know, they're running out of legs to stand on. And I hope Gascon can get somewhere, and I hope he gets the help he needs to do it. Because like you said, there's no way he's going to get all this done by himself. It's impossible. But,
I
don't hopefully,
even know what he intends on really doing either.
Well, I guess we'll find out with these reopened investigations, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to find out. I mean, I hope all these southern states secede. That would be nice. That's what they want to do. Let them do it. Let them stop taking our federal dollars. You know, more for us that way. They don't need our handouts. They don't need any more of our handouts and our socialism. They got these politicians over there saying they need to secede, I think, and a whole bunch of the the MAGAs over there. They're saying the same thing. Yeah, separate, leave us, leave the United States, take off. Put a border wall around Texas so the rest of us can't get in. I'm cool with that. Take all those other backward states with you.
I mean, that is the plain fact of the way the United States works. Without the federal government, within probably 6 months, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi would be like bankrupt. it would just be a ghetto, you know? I mean, because a long time ago in Canada, we had the threat about Quebec leaving Canada. And in about 2 years, the head offices of, I think, something like 20 of the biggest 50 companies in Canada all moved their head office out of Montreal to Toronto. Because business said, if you're leaving Canada, we ain't going to fucking stick around. So how many big corporations that are in those southern states are just going to pack up and move? It's like, forget it. We're out of here.
Yeah.
You know, and look at all the military bases in those states. That's all federal money. You think they're going to stay there if you're not in the country? They're going to pull up all that shit and leave and put it just on the other side of the border from you now. How's that sound? You know, I mean, it's just so completely senseless.
And I'm
It's
going
a
to be honest.
non-starter.
I don't know if you've ever seen these people, like you see how people here live and people there. It's like really bad. Like
Yep.
for people here are poor and broke and homeless and impoverished. But I would say for like every dollar we have, they got 10 or 25 cents. And stuff cheaper there, true. But I mean, it's really hard. These
Yeah.
cats is broke out there. Cats is living in houses without windows. You know, taped up
Yep.
windows. They can't afford to get new windows. And it looks like a shack that's falling apart. And a lot of people, not just one or two, drive through those little towns in Louisiana and other places. You got really nice houses with these people, and you got just shacks. Like it's one step above homelessness. And then you got the homeless
Yep.
people in the cities too. Not to the LA extent. I mean, I haven't been out there in a long time, but I'm sure after Katrina it got much worse. But then a lot of people came here from there and other places to get away from the weather. So yeah, I mean, it just sucks. People aren't taken care
Well,
of.
But see, this is the other thing that never gets discussed in the public domain either. You talk about Katrina. Well, I think numbers show that something like 35% of the population of New Orleans never went back. They just, you know, they got relocated to wherever, Texas or Oklahoma or California or Arizona. And they said, fuck it, we ain't going back. It sucks there. You know, and
Yeah.
if these idiots keep talking about secession and this and that, it's going to have the same effect. And then you have an even smaller tax base and a smaller economy. And the debt didn't get any smaller that you've been running up the last 40 fucking years. So
Nope.
now what? It's such idiocy. And it's all about feels. It's all about getting people wound up in the direction that you want them to go. That's all it is. It's just so short-sighted and non-productive. But America, fuck yeah.
Keep on fighting.
Yeah, fighting
Yeah,
what?
it's-
Whatever, we'll tell you.
Fight. What are you talking about? Fighting the foreigners, the others. You're next, Canada.
Yeah.
Once there's no other place to wipe off the map, we're looking at you weirdos because you're not like us. Hee haw.
You know, and
Flint posted. Oh, he's talking about the inflation and the houses for $20.
the desertion of people just leaving, just picking up and leaving. Fuck it, we're out of here. This is just beyond sticking it out anymore. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
This is the other thing too, and especially in other countries, because, you know, mostly from sports teams and stuff like that. Like, I can never remember that the city of Detroit having a population under 500,000 people. Like St. Louis has officially like 280,000 people left in it. That's it. And this has been going on for decades now.
Man.
And all these so-called American cities are just dying on the vine. It's just atrophy. And yet places like California continue to grow and grow and grow. Now, whether that's just good marketing or, whatever, the weather, what have you. But I mean, you can talk about the widening disparity in income. There's also a widening disparity in where people are going to be living. And the way your political system is set up, it's just going to make shit worse over the long run. It's not going to help. I've been seeing it after this election again, just like every election, and I would agree with it. Why the fuck does Wyoming have the same number of senators that California has?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there are something like 150 counties in California that have more population than the entire state of Wyoming. There's something wrong with that system, severely wrong. But
I was thinking about that. All it does, this whole electoral college system, all it does is make sure that we're in no way a democracy. Because a democracy be one person, one vote per issue or person if you have to do that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You say there's this many people, everyone gets one ballot. If you're here, you get a ballot. It doesn't matter if you're locked up or not. It doesn't matter if you're convicted of something or not. You get a ballot.
Yep.
But now they have it set up so these crazy wackadoos, the racists, the bigots, the uneducated, down in the middle of nowhere, their votes are worth so much more than ours over here because I don't know why. Because a consolation prize, a participation trophy, what is it? What are they getting? Why do they get more votes than we? I mean, why is their vote worth more than ours?
Yep. No, it doesn't make sense.
How do you win a popular vote and lose an election?
Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense. Like it doesn't. I mean, I understand it. I understand the stupid reasons they do it for and the stupid system they created is idiotic and makes no sense. But that's not in any way a democracy.
Yep.
It's just not. Like if the people you want to come to vote for are not what the majority of the people in your country wants, then they're not the ones that should be in office. They shouldn't go and say, "Oh, we're going to make a little sideways so you could still be lucky if you're a crazy psychopath that votes due to some kind of imaginary fairy tales or whatever, or votes because you hate everybody else." That's on you. If you can convince enough people to hate enough people and vote according to, bigotry or whatever reason, then that's great. Make it happen. But until then, the other person's this less bigoted is going to win or whatever the people vote for, right?
Yep.
Because I hate Hillary Clinton. I hate Hillary Clinton. But she won the election. Fair and square.
Yeah.
Trump didn't win.
Yeah.
He won the consolation prize. Same thing with Bush. It's ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous we even have a system like this.
Well, that's just it. I mean, that's what I would ask the American people. I mean, every time they see an election in a different country, and especially a country that elects a president, all you ever see are the vote totals in the entire country. That's it. That's all that matters. Popular vote. Like, you don't see who's elected the president of Hungary, and they show you all the provincial votes. And then how, depending on a 200-year-old system, well, this province gets more say than this province does because they were here at the start and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's ridiculous. If anybody else saw that, they'd be like, what kind of bullshit is that? Why don't they just count the votes? And this is the exact kind of thing that the CIA and the Atlantic Council and all these other think tanks always like to smear foreign elections where they don't like the result. They always try and bring into it that, oh, well, these people's votes don't count as much as those people, etc., etc. But that's the way your own fucking country works. So go look in the mirror.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's a joke. It's a stupid thing. I don't understand it. I don't understand how people just let all this stuff happen. I hope we don't get shut down. My computer's acting all weird all of a sudden.
It's those lizard people.
Smokers hacking the show. Damn Anonymous. Yeah, it's make Tim mad. Quality is a financial issue and more. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, if the people hear me saying random things every once in a while, I'm reading what Smoker and Celeb, mainly Smoker, are putting up here, and it's a bunch of trolling mixed with some really important facts that people should pay attention to, mixed with a whole bunch of misinformation. So y'all sort through it.
So it's kind of like CNN, is what you're saying.
It's like any major news network in the United States or whatever. So yeah.
The other thing, I don't know if you saw it, but have you seen anything about who is now former mayor of Dodge City, Kansas, Joyce Warshaw, who is was a GOP mayor of Dodge City, Kansas, and she's resigned because of threats to her and her family's safety.
Oh yeah, yes, I did hear about that. She's not the only one either.
Yeah, threats by phone and email, and the reason for this, well, the Dodge City Commission voted 4-1 on November 16th to impose a mask mandate with several exceptions. So that's what brought on the death threats to the mayor for having the balls to vote in favor of a mask mandate because, COVID's fake and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, now Ford County, where Dodge City is in Kansas, has slightly less than 34,000 residents. And since the pandemic began, they've had almost 5,000 cases of COVID. So, hello? You got to wonder
how much they were testing with that group of people.
Exactly. It could be much higher. But it just blows my mind that these large groups of people, despite the deaths, keep going up and up and up. This insane twist that you can't make me just defies logic to me. I just do not understand it. And on the other hand, for former Mayor Joyce Warshaw, hey, good on her. She said, I don't need this shit. I think we should have a mask bylaw. I voted for it. Now people want to threaten my life and the well-being of my family. Fuck this. I'm out of here. And I can't blame her one bit. But again, when the subversives in what is supposed to be a society can get their way by doing this, what does this say about where society, quote unquote, is going? This, again, is fascism. This is threat and intimidation. It's not based on process or argument or evidence or anything. It's based on the threat of violence because we don't like how you made us feel. That's it. That's all it is.
Last week we did mention, we were joking. We were talking about, we got to fire Bill Barr because he's a radical left Democrat, and we got to fire the Supreme Court. And And turns out, yeah, they're getting death threats too. Bill Barr was forced, well, so, quote unquote, not forced to resign. And fuck you, smoker. And then man, he be throwing me off. I'm not looking at the chat anymore. Don't.
No.
And then you got Celeb over here egging him on. Stop it, man.
No, I get it. What you're saying. I get it. What you're saying.
They're getting death threats from. They're getting death threats from the people that was on their side. They're talking about Bill Barr works for the deep state now, and this and that and the other thing. It's insane, man. It's insane. The only reason Trump isn't impeached and removed from office or possibly in prison is because of William Barr.
And Mitch McConnell.
And Mitch McConnell. Yeah, oh yeah. That was more recent since last week. That was like yesterday, the day before. Yeah, now they hate McConnell too. And you know what they're doing? They're telling the truth.
Yep, finally.
But it's based on their racism. They're talking about McConnell is his wife is doing illegal things with China and this and that. But we've been saying that a long time. How are they getting this much money? Where's it coming from? She has all these business dealings going on with China and stuff, or Chinese companies. I don't even know if it's China or not, right? Corporations are multinational nowadays. So yeah, Mitch McConnell's been corrupt. When you were supporting him, he was corrupt. Now that you hate him, he's still corrupt. Nothing's changed. His wife is corrupt too. And Trump is corrupt, and Biden's corrupt, and Harris is corrupt, and Pence is corrupt. And Pence, by the way, what is he doing next week? Isn't he going to be on camera getting a shot for the hoax to protect him from catching a hoax?
Apparently, I mean,
my question is, how do you know what they're giving him in Biden? They just, we're gonna take the. There's no guarantee. It's not just a flu shot or whatever they're giving him. You know.
But I mean, I think that says something, though. It doesn't matter. They could be injecting him with fucking white tar heroin. It's just the event, the description. That's what's important, not the actual thing. It's just the environment they create for this event. That's what matters.
Like when Obama drank the Flint water?
Yeah.
And then did nothing. Nothing. As far as I know, their water's still filthy.
Yep. Nothing's changed. But, they had a stunt, and their message was created and disseminated. All right, let's move on. I mean, this is the issue, and that's what I think makes it so obvious that the QAnon cult is not based on anything tangible, because the speed and the completeness that they can just turn on a member of their circle because they did something that's against everything else we've been standing for. It doesn't matter if there's new evidence. It doesn't matter if they've seen the light. It's just you cannot deviate from dogma of the movement, or you're one of them. It's just so idiotic. This is like going back thousands of years in human development to have this sort of attitude. But
yeah,
America, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
It's just fucked.
It's stupid. The whole thing's a joke. Yeah.
What I wanted to get across with this mayor of Dodge City, I mean, there you go. This is a red state. It's a red county. She got elected as a mayor as a Republican. So, I mean, she looked at the evidence. She looked at what COVID is doing to America. And she said, it makes sense for us. We should wear masks. And just that one thing. Well, fuck you. We're going to kill you. That's insane.
It is, but that's how they are. They'll turn on each other in a second. Like you either back the ruler or you're worthless. I told these cats a long time ago when I was arguing with them at one of them rallies they were at with the Nazis and the Klansmen and all that, and then the Trump supporters who quote unquote aren't racist, that just stand with the racist because they believe the same things. Yeah, but yeah, they you know, they're not patriotic for a country. They're just fans for a person.
Yep.
I mean, every sign they have says Trump. It don't say United States. It might say both, but it's Trump, Trump, Trump. And they got the little American flag with the blue line through it. But it's always Trump on top of everything. Trump, 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 Trump. We got to protect Trump. We'll fight for Trump. We'll stand down for Trump. Or stand down and stand by, or whatever it was. You know, doing it for Trump, for Trump. It's never for a greater good of the people of the country. It's just for one dude. It's a cult.
Yep.
I mean, people say it, but that's literally, just pay attention to him, man. This whole country could burn as long as Trump is cool, you know? We should call it Trumpland. Trumperica. I don't know. United States of Trump. Trumpica.
That's why we're seeing so much more mention of Nero in the news since the election. Because, you know, that's pretty much it, exactly. I mean, it's, if you want to remove all the stupidity and simply look at, you know, maybe relevant stuff like what's the fucking guy doing all day long, basically since the election, he's done next to nothing that a president should be doing. All he's done is eat hamburgers and go golfing and pardon people. That's it. He's not leading on anything. He's not deciding on anything. He's just pouting and being a fucking dickhead. It's ridiculous. and this is the guy who should stick around for 4 more years. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. I mean, you know, and if you want to talk about the on purpose futility of these court cases, I've never seen anything like it. I just never thought I would see, in the name of a sitting president, to be this ridiculously unprepared and full of shit to demand national media attention and sit before the highest courts in the land with that fucking bag of Cracker Jack. Like, I just cannot believe it. But like you said, they have to put on a show to justify raising $200 million for this criminal to take $150 million of it with him when he leaves.
You know, if Biden was smart, he would film the southern border in some super hyper lapse from a jet plane or something. And then his first day in office, he could be like, we tore down most of Trump's wall. It's not even there anymore. Check it out.
And it never was.
That's my point.
Yeah.
He could film it right now. It's ready to go and just say he tore it all down. So we got a little bit more. We got like a couple 100 feet of it still to take down what he actually built. And, you know, we're going to give Mexico their money back. Don't worry.
Well, you better slow down there because Mexico is probably like, what? Oh, yeah, fuck, hand it over. Let's go. Where's our cash?
Yeah, we want every last dime back. That wall was really expensive.
Yeah, then the Mexican ambassador in D.C. can go check the records and see how much money was stolen from the military budget to give to the wall. And they say, yeah, let's go. That's all our money. They stole it. The military stole it from us, and then Congress stole it from the military for the wall. So we want it back.
Yeah.
It's worth a shot. Why not? Everything else seems to get airtime. Why not? Go for it. What the hell? Even if you're wrong, even if you get laughed out, doesn't matter. You're just like everybody else then. I'm curious, what is it? Well, I mean, you're in Southern California, so I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a different attitude. But out on the street, this whole bullshit about the steal and all this stuff. Like, does the average person on the street even give a fuck?
No, you know what? I mean, there's a lot of people who believe a lot of weird conspiracy theories and stuff. Like cats will say, I've heard some cats say, "Oh man, Biden cheated and stole the election, but I'm glad he did because Trump was horrible." I'm like, what are you talking about? Just
Wow.
like they'll hear one thing and believe it, or this or that, or oh man, um, Biden's gonna make America socialist, and we won't be able to make any more money. Then what are we gonna do? Blah blah blah. Like, yeah, but then they hated Trump too. It's just, I don't know. I hear a lot of things about the vaccine. I heard a good one yesterday. Someone was telling me that the vaccine's gonna have, I think it's some QAnon thing, but the dude wasn't a QAnon. He was just a little cat. Um, um, a friend of one of my homies that I know. He was saying, yeah, they're going to give you this vaccine and it's got a microchip in it. And then eventually they're going to shut down everything with money and you have to use a microchip to buy or sell stuff. And then if you do, you burn in hell or whatever. I was like, what are you talking about? Where'd you hear this? Oh man, it's on there. You can see it online all over. I'm like, wow. They've already done it in some countries that got rid of the coronavirus. Because that's what the governments did. They created it so you have to get the virus to get the shot. And if you don't, then you die. And once you get the shot, you're stuck and you have to use that for your money. So whatever.
Holy fuck.
They could eliminate all illegal business that way and control everything. Well, I mean, not really. There's other things beside money you can trade for that you don't have to put on a chip, you know?
Well, I mean, the best explanation I saw for that kind of stuff was somebody said, okay, so you have this computer device that's handheld and you take it with you everywhere.
Yeah.
And you can move your money around using it. You can do anything you want using it. And you think that the government's going to spend all this money to inject you with a microchip when you're just carrying it around with you already?
There's some older people and a few hundred people probably that don't have cell phones and they don't want them because whatever reasons. But yeah, that's the same thing. I mean, eventually somebody's going to figure out if the chip is online, they're going to figure out how to hack it. They're going to figure out how to alter it or do something to it, or else they're not going to be able to read it. So it has to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How does it power itself? It's unlimited power forever. So many questions in that it's just, yeah, these global conspiracies that need millions of people to make it work just seems so weird.
No,
I mean,
it
he's the
doesn't make
president,
sense.
it needs all of Congress, he needs every world leader, it needs 3 janitors, two restaurant workers, 20 people out of a bank. I mean, it's insane, dude. It's just insane. Everyone in this country and yeah, these people with their conspiracy theories, man. I think I posted something. Oh, go ahead.
Well, what gets me is they make it sound like they can just get all these multitudes of people in different organizations, in different places, to all go along with this plan with a timeline, and it's all going to work. Well, anybody who's been involved in how government buys things or regulates things knows that's an absolute complete farce, because that's just simply, government can't do that to buy ass wipe, for Christ's sake. So you think they're going to do it to control the population? It's just simply impossible. And I find it amazing that these conspiracy theorists always default that the government is like this ultra elite, super intelligent hive mind that everybody knows what's happening and when it's happening. Man, you have no fucking clue. It is the furthest thing from that you can imagine. But yet, that's the only way their stories work. So it's one of those things you're not allowed to question. You just have to accept it. It comes with your merit badge.
Yeah, I mean, I posted something online that said conspiracy theories. I think just the conspiracies are real. Rich people conspire to get richer at any cost. Powerful people conspire to retain and gain more power at any cost. And the cost is usually suffering, death, and blah, 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 misery and pain and poverty for the rest of us, basically, for multitudes of us.
Yep.
So, yeah. I mean, that's that simple. The little dark room with a bunch of 90-year-old cats in there or whatever, with 5 or 6 dudes running everything, and all the world governments have to listen when they call. Come on, man. It's just ridiculous.
But that's what works for everybody who wants their 15 minutes and has merchandise to sell.
Yeah, you're right. So they put on their human skin and run the world.
The other thing I wanted to talk about is, of course, it's from the right-wing tards like Shapiro and Kirk and all these self-made celebrities of the moment. They're talking about setting up a presidency in absentia because, you know, Trump is still the president. So they're trying to make it kind of like how during the Second World War, Belgium had a shadow government in London. Poland had their government in London. Yeah, Mooch has been saying this too. Thanks, Smoker. You know, they're trying to make it sound like that because everything's being stolen. So Trump has to set up a presidency in absentia. Well, I don't know if that would be inside the Kremlin or in fucking Dubai or wherever it would be.
Mar-a-Lago, duh.
Yeah, where they don't want him to live. Yeah, okay.
No,
but anyway,
that's his own. That's Trump land now.
Oh, it's going to be like the Vatican?
Exactly. But more gold.
More gold than the Vatican. Wow.
Yeah. Trump
I
don't
didn't
play.
think that was possible. But when I heard this, I thought of one thing. This is exactly what Pompeo and State and CIA tried to do in Venezuela with Juan Guaido. And we see how well that worked out. So it's the same shitty plan they tried to pull off there. Now they think they can sell it here? Man, you guys are just so out of ideas. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, these wackos are getting smaller. I think some of them are smart enough where they're like, you know, it's just not working out. Maybe I need to take my racist ass and calm down a little and just kind of blend back into society before I get singled out as one of the red hats forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's a special group. The special group that shows up and goes to all his rallies and, you know, goes across the country to see him. And I've seen him 58 times and blah, blah, blah. But most of them are just Republican voters that said, you know, this is a great racist guy. He stands for everything racist I believe in. I'm going to vote for him. And then there's the ones that be like, Jesus and Trump, we'll die for you, especially Trump. Yeah, those are the other ones. Those are the ones that are doing the little terrorist crap now. And they'll probably pick up a few more days as things progress, you know. Because right now they still have the hope that Mike Pence is going to go in, look at all the counted votes and be like, Trump won. That's their last and final hope.
Well, I'm actually I will probably actually seek that out to find it from C-SPAN, where Pence has to stand in front of the Senate and read the Electoral College results.
He's fired the next day, and he's going to get death threats. Watch. Like Pence's deep state. Pence's deep state. How dare him? We knew it all along. No one could trust that guy.
Well, I'm willing to say right now that he will not appear in public again after he does that until the transition happens. He will be invisible after that. He'll go straight from the Capitol to wherever the fuck he holes up and he's going to stay there until the 22nd.
You think he'll start his little Jesus racist radio show back up again?
Well, whatever. I'm sure somebody will finance it for him because, that's always the bottom line. Other people's money. So, I wouldn't be surprised. I hope he'll get used to having, 20% of the listeners he used to have. But that's the price when you lose in America, And I mean, I remember before the election, I said, I don't know if I said it on air, but I know I said it to you. American culture loves nothing more than building people up and tearing them down. And that's exactly what the corporate media did. They
did say it online before.
They made all those billions of dollars for 5 years with the free material that Trump gave them. And then they decided this is not sustainable. This is not good for our long-term business model because this guy will drag us down with him. So, we decided you're not going to win this time. And I mean, anybody who's going to look at the way the United States works and think that if 3 out of 4 of the news networks saying, not coming right out and saying it, but with their coverage, with their commentary, saying Trump is going to lose, if you think that doesn't affect how the actual vote goes, you're sadly mistaken. Of course it does.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. In 2016, the media gave him the chance to win. And then with their fuckery in 3 states for 80,000 votes to shift the Electoral College, he did win. But this time, I think they were much more clear.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
he's going to lose.
Well, I mean, he's still got a month left. There is a possibility, like we talked about a couple of shows ago, he could stay in office forever if he plays his cards right, or wrong for everybody else, right for him. It's still, it seems less and less, but there was a video the other day that worried me a little bit. It was some kind of sporting event with the military and Trump. Did you see that when Trump came and walked on the field or whatever?
That was the Army-Navy game.
And they cheered the crap out of him.
Yeah, but then, even so, this just shows you. I mean, if you want to go back to North Korea, if Kim goes somewhere and they all cheer like lunatics for him, he's going to sit there until the end and clap and smile and thank everybody for being devoted to him. Fucking Trump didn't even last till halftime. He just, whatever. Yeah, everybody cheered for me. Oh, yeah, fuck, I lost. Shit. Well, let's go home. I want to pout. I need a quarter pounder. Let's go. It's just ridiculous. The guy's not even a worthy cult leader.
Which one? What cult leader is a worthy cult leader? I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, most cult leaders will stand there and smile forever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, bring it on. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm here for you. Oh yeah, we're powerful. We're powerful. Not Trump. He knows he's lost. He's over. He's like, okay, whatever, thanks. Fuck it.
He's never had to lose anything in his life before. Like, even if he did lose and failed, he just gets bailed out forever.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a big hit for him. So we should all feel sad and try to understand how he feels. No, fuck that. I'm just kidding.
No.
But that's what people are saying, though. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
He's never had to worry about anything in his life. He never lost anything in his life. No matter what he did, it's been okay. So, yeah, it's probably rough.
I think that's the biggest thing that, just doesn't even make sense to me on a cult of personality level. Because in North Korea, for example, there are some people who are fanatically loyal to the dynasty, and the dynasty takes care of those people. Same thing you could say about People's Republic of China. Same thing
Yeah.
you could say about most Western democracies. Those who suck up usually do pretty well. But Trump can't even be bothered to give a fuck about people who are willing to die for him.
Yeah.
He just lets them die anyway. He don't care.
I don't think that matters to them. No, he's a cult leader.
Wow.
They're gonna cheer for him whether he stays or goes. He's gotten, he's been firing key people in the military, replacing them. He got rid of Barr in the Department of Justice. I don't know. It's just like he could just start nuking something. He can attack. He can start a war. He can get his people. This is, I think, what he's trying to do. If he can get his people riled up enough in the streets, start attacking and just causing mayhem, like he would need millions and millions of them doing it to make it work, then he can just declare martial law and shut stuff down, arrest his opponents or whatever, start moving in like a true fascist dictator, grasping power. The thing is, he needs a lot of people to go along with him, and it seems like every day that goes by, he has less and less.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the military and what they're willing to do with the people he's put in power there.
Well, I think there are some things that happened this week that move that further away from possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, all the states have declared their votes. I'm not sure, but I think that once Pence reads the Electoral College in the Senate, Trump can no longer start a nuclear war without Biden agreeing. So he's running out of time.
I hope you're right.
Well, it makes sense. And the continuity of government is the most protected policies there are in the United States. And for considering the things that are in there, I would say that if he wanted to go nuclear, he couldn't do it once it's official in every level of the U.S. government that Biden is president in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, that he could do that. I mean, if he wants to escalate something that's already going on, yeah, he can do that. But I'm really not sure that legally, that Trump could start a war with Iran once Pence reads the EC tally in the Senate. So, I mean, yeah, your country's fucked up, but I mean, there are some rules that will not be broken. Just, again,
Yeah.
this conspiracy about millions of people around the world cooperating with a master plan and everybody's in unison. No.
Oh no, I'm saying millions of his goons if he riles them up and they just take to the streets.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying anything. That. Yeah, I mean, he it's a possibility. Because he did say, everything he said Obama was going to do, he pretty much did. And he did say Obama's going to start war with Iran and declare martial law before it's over, so he'll never have to leave. So it's in his mind. These are tweets you could look up. He said them. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that possible, but I think anything's possible, right?
Well, I think it's possible that this idiot will try anything. Whether it's successful or not is an entirely different question.
Yeah.
And I mean, stuff like Barr having his agreement to leave, well, I mean, Barr was around a long time ago, and he already did crooked shit.
Yes, because every time
office.
Barr comes, bad stuff happens, and some rich, powerful jackass gets covered. That's what he's there for.
Yep. And he's not going to give up that opportunity to come back and do it again in the future. I mean, look at people like Cheney and, all those pricks, Rumsfeld. I mean, these guys were around with Nixon, and then they turn up with Reagan, and then they turn up again with W.
Yep.
I mean, that's their gig, man. That's what they do. They are the fucking deep state.
Yeah. If there is any such thing.
Yeah.
We probably got to wrap soon. We did a long show today. You know why? It's because, like, I love Scolder, I love Celeb, but then Smoker's in here today, and I haven't seen Smoker on here, forever. Smoker's awesome. I love Smoker too. So, like, for real, I wasn't even joking. Two of my favorite Canadians are on here. You'd be like a close third, Glenn.
And Smoker shows up just to talk shit.
It doesn't matter. It's what he does.
Hilarious.
Oh my god! The first time I was on a show with Smoker was when we did that one. I think it was a Serena Shim show, where we were talking about Serena Shim, and then afterwards you had like a anything hour.
Yep. The third hour.
With
anything
you and
goes.
Smoker, yeah. And he's like, "Hey, Mr. Anonymous guy over there, what are you wearing?" And I was like, "Nothing." And I was like, "Nothing." And he's like, "Nice."
Yeah.
Oh, it was just funny.
Oh, yeah. Old school. And the only other thing I would add is about solar winds.
Solar winds?
This is going to be probably the biggest hack ever by the time this all plays out. And I think Solar Winds is just the new HB Gary. It's that bad. Because Solar Winds software was used by, 300 and some out of the Fortune 500. Damn near every government department. Like, this is going to turn out really, really bad. This is going to make the hack on OMB look small. This is way beyond government. It's throughout the corporate world as well.
It's all ransomware, isn't it?
Well,
I mean, it's something else.
No, it wasn't ransomware. I mean, they've been in there for 7 months until they found their access. So it's part, I'm just a hack. I don't know what I'm talking about, but the way I can decode it, it's part rootkit, it's part Trojan, it's part phishing. It's just a really, really good intrusion. I mean, and they've created.
Oh wow, yeah.
They've created their own backdoors, and
they're mad safe. Download today. Every agency got it. They all got it. Even what haven't been confirmed it yet. Rooted for 6 months, just browsing.
Yeah. So I mean, this is going to turn out really bad.
Thank you, Smoker.
And it's funny how news of it didn't come out till after Chris Krebs was fired. Who's somebody else? Trump's gonna regret the day he fired Chris Krebs. That guy is full of piss and vinegar, and he knows what he's talking about. So expect to see a lot more of him around, and I think that's because he's going to turn up as a Democratic Senate candidate somewhere. That's pretty safe, but that's how Washington works. And the other thing that Smoker warned me not to say, but I want to make it clear that this is just for lulz.
Wait. If you say something Smoker told you not to say, he's going to cyber you. He's going to cyber you really good. You shouldn't do it.
Well, it just seems rather coincidental that the SolarWinds hack wasn't found out about or revealed until Jeremy Hammond was out of prison.
Nice.
Dun, dun, dun. HB Gary, Palantir, I got my tinfoil out. That's just a way to segue into we're waiting for more news about Jeremy.
Glenn has been rooted for years. gosh.
But he put 2 O's in rooted. It wasn't 2 zeros, so it doesn't count.
Oh, yeah. Wait, this isn't Smoker the Hacker. This is just some smoker guy. He would have known better. Oh, man. So, yeah, hey, do you want to do, because we got to go, do you want to do our sponsorship thing?
Alrighty.
I can put the music on. Yeah, I got to work on getting some new music down. I made this one, and then I have some more I'm going to dump, so we'll have new cool music for the show and intros pretty soon. But this is like a half-ass finished thing. But we won't get copyright infringed for it, at least, so awesomeness.
Right on.
There it is, reggae music playing. You want to go first? I can hit my. I'll just go first. I'm sponsored today by Nerds Wax, and you'll hear it in a second when this G-Pen Connect fires up. But go ahead, Glenn.
Our Canadian sponsor today is Maserati Black Hash.
Wait, what was it?
Maserati Black Hash.
Oh, nice. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's a change.
Is that the strain it's from?
No, that's just basically the brand name.
Cool.
It's not black putty. It's not black putty. It's pretty firm, but it's hash, and it works.
Hash is awesome. Yeah, in the next couple of days, I'm going to, Celeb's been helping me, been working on the union, so that's coming along. Just for anybody wondering, it should be coming along more, closer in the next few weeks. He's been doing so much work, and I've been just sitting here doing nothing, so I'm going to try to get on that with him and get it done. And then, I'm going to do something probably on like a live stream about the Citizen app, because there's things about it I think people need to know and talk about. Do you have Citizen in Canada?
What?
It's an app for your phone called Citizen app.
Not that I'm aware of.
It tells you about what quote unquote crimes or fires or whatever's happening in the area.
No.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm going to do a little short thing about it, because it's I hear people using it to say that crime's so bad and crime's so terrible. And, like, long story short, yeah, if you're watching, if I'm listening to the police scanner, I'm hearing a lot more things than if I'm not listening to a police scanner. So I'm like, oh my God, there's crimes here, there's crimes there, there's crimes there. And now they got this app, so every time something happens close to you, it pops up. And, a lot of times it's like 2 times, for instance, I'm going to go real quick here and then we can leave. Like it said, man yielding machete in the street. Turns out it was a guy walking with a golf club. And more and more I'm hearing that people are using it to kind of, I think the way somebody put it was to a way of swatting, quote unquote, swatting homeless people. Like they'll call up or use the app to report a homeless person with a gun at this thing. So when the cops show up, maybe they might kill somebody or do something. So yeah, I'm just gonna do something talking about the whole app thing, because it needs to be talked about. Crime doesn't get worse just because you hear about it, or better when you don't hear about it. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a whole nother thing. But yeah, thank you guys in the chat. Today is Canadian Day on People's Radio. Every day's half Canadian Day, but now it's even like 3-on-1. I feel like the scum of the earth right now. All these great people. Did you see the tweet? Just last thing. Did you see the tweet about Robin Williams that I put up? Someone put a quote.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it and read it, and then we're gonna end the show on that note. but I have to find the account that it's on. There it is. Okay, Robin Williams said this. He's talking about Canada. You are a big country. You are the kindest country in the world. You are like a really nice apartment over a meth lab. And that's real.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's still, it's all relative.
Yeah,
you know, it's just like the lesser evil, I guess.
Oh,
applies.
definitely. I just thought it's funny too. He was a comedian, so everything's exaggerated.
Reality is exaggerated.
So cool.
Alrighty.
Maybe we'll see everybody next week. Depends on my internet connection and Glenn's availability and a whole bunch of other factors. But thanks for listening. We'll see you all later. And we're out.